Alright guys, just
We're the CloverBots and we're team 3.
Where's the, is it in present mode?
I don't think it's in
Mr. Kelly, how do I swap files?
Ah, there we go.
Cool.
I'm Mal from the Innovation Project team.
I'm Olivia.
I'm Ben.
I'm Christian. I'm Lewis.
I'm Clark, part of the robot team, along with
Naomi.
Mikey.
Cheers.
Well,
Our team mascot's name this year is Clover, Clover and Lenny. And we chose Clover to represent the AIM CloverBots and 4-H. And Lenny was our mascot last year. We chose him again this year because last year's strategies influenced us this year. And our team motto is teamwork makes the dream work.
The 4 main energy types that we're going to be focusing on are solar, wind, hydro, and geothermal. See, problems that we have now are that non-renewable energy sources are slowly decreasing, and one day we're going to need other energy resources. So we need more energy to power everyday things like cars and house lights.
Speaking of problems, throughout our process of ideas, we also had some rejected ideas. One of them was the hydro toilet. The hydro toilet, when it flushes, it stores the power and uses it to power the bathroom lights. We did not do this. We did not use this due to the impracticality.
Another one of our rejected ideas was the geoheater. The geoheater was something, it would extract heat from the earth and it would use it to put energy into your homes. And we didn't do it because of materials, expenses, and it was also impractical because it could only be used in certain areas.
A solar seat is like you have a solar panel on top of your car, and it takes from the heat from the sun and heats your chair. But we didn't use that because expensive and impractical.
And this was our final project. We chose the topic of wind energy, and wind energy has been being harnessed since before Christ. And in the 17th century, people started producing with winds, and in 1940, people started using megawatts. So we came up with beehive turbine. It's a type of turbine that has a small footprint. It's environmental friendly, and it's portable, and it has a very low cost.
a beehive turbine is a wind turbine that, it's like a regular wind turbine, but it has a smaller footprint and it's more environmentally friendly, so it doesn't harm. Oh, a traffic turbine is basically a beehive turbine that's on the side of the road and takes the wind generated by passing cars and generates electricity. This was our model for our project. It basically represents the turbine that we designed and came up with. So it takes the electricity generated from the turbine and uses it to power a speed limit sign, or train track sign, that kind of sign. The beehive turbine isn't as bad for the environment as regular wind turbines because it doesn't harm birds, because usually birds will get like sucked into the blades of the turbine, but this one doesn't hurt birds. It also has a much smaller footprint and it's able to be moved easily.
Our old design, it was not the greatest because it would suck up and kill birds, and portability, it didn't have great portability because you couldn't really move it anywhere, and it wasn't that friendly to our environment. But the idea we came up, the current idea we have, it has great portability because you can move it different places if it is needed to be moved, and it doesn't kill birds, and it's a good thing for our environment because it's very friendly.
Robot design.
Yes. For our strategy for the robot game, we decided to utilize the 2 bases this year, and we started from the red base, I believe, and we went up the right side, doing missions on that side, and doing half of mission 2, and then we end up in the blue base and we finish mission 2, and then we relaunch from there and do the innovation project mission, and that's our strategy.
Some of our problems during this whole session, or the first part of before this tournament, was one of our problems was the wheels were very dirty and kept on turning right or drifting the other way. So we had to fix this. We had to replace the wheels and the gears. Our second problem was our code got completely deleted, and it was on accident, but it was probably on accident, but it wasn't very crucial because it was at the beginning of the year. Our third problem was our code, one of our pieces of code got moved into the wrong spot and messed up our code. It was 4 practices away from the competition. Our fourth problem was when we were trying to get to mission 6, we ran into mission 16. So, we haven't fixed this yet, but it is very crucial because we cannot get as much points as we wanted.
Click. A major factor in our robot design is this forklift right here, which can be used to lift coal in mission 2. So we can use this to go under, and this was one of our effective plan was to get the simplest and easiest missions to give us the most points. So this forklift really helped get all those points from the coal mission.
So on to me. So with 808, I guess there's a bit to explain. So we were handed pseudocode sheets, which basically, if you don't know what they are, is they're sheets where we can draw a line to tell where the robot's gonna go throughout the game. And some evidence of how we improved was at the beginning, we had an idea to just get every mission. But then we realized with the pseudocode sheets that 1, too much time, 2, too much code, and 3, it just wouldn't work out well because it'd have to be so perfectly coded. And also, we had much better code from the beginning because at the beginning it was very unorganized. Like if we were like, hey, take out mission 3, we'd have to go through each code and test it all to find out which block of code was, let's just say, mission 3. And during the middle of the season to improve, there's something with the coding program we use where you can attach a sticky note to blocks of code, but later on we just split it into entirely new blocks of code, so it wasn't just one long code. And let's see what else. Oh yeah, and there's visible changes from the old code because, like Chase mentioned, we had many problems, like a lot. whether it was running into missions or wheel drift or gear grinding, which is where we're putting too much force on the wheel. We had to delicately change the motor speed so that gears wouldn't grind and like the ridges wouldn't strip basically it make gears wheels instead of factory gears. Damage?
So the two sensors I will be explaining today is the color, which are these two right here that light up, and the gyro sensor. The gyro sensor cannot be attached, which is in this brain. It is it's built into here this year, because last year you were able to attach it and make a certain code for it. And the color sensor can be attached like right here, and when it's coded, it can be coded to follow a certain line or detect a certain color. So like an example could be where you need to use your color sensor later in your code, where like there's like a color say with the lines on the game table where there's a black line and then there's two white and you were trying to detect the second black line. Sometimes you'll have to put the code, like the color sensor, later in the code so it can detect that second white line. And also we used innovation in this because we were creating many different ways to use our gyro and use the color sensor.
You can look at it. That's also going to be useful for this slide here.
So with our attachments here, the very first one, the hook, that helps us with the car mission to put the arm. It helps us to to flip up the lever like there is in one of the missions. I can't remember which, but it helps us with like the little blue car that somebody might bring in to demonstrate, and yeah.
And we have two more attachments. That back one, the one that kind of looks like a scorpion tail, which led us to call our robot Scorpion. It's the forklift attachment. Like Clark mentioned earlier, it will help us slide into mission 2 and lift up repeatedly so that we can deposit coal into the truck. And this last one, the small one right here, the gray thing attached to the arm, that helps us with part 2 of mission 2, which is pulling like a truck full of coal into your landing zone.
3 main coding blocks we'd like to focus on is the movement block, which helped us move forward and get to missions faster and easier. We also used the events block, which helped us start out our code and continue with that. And then control, which let us wait a certain amount of seconds to get a precise outcome.
So these are some of the important checkpoints we reached throughout the season. One of them was the first completed one. Now, I remember our robot team was extremely excited whenever it first happened because we'd been working extremely hard and we'd finally fixed all the code and it completed its first one. On the topic of robot team checkpoints, we also have the first completed mission, which was earlier on. I think it was like our third practice?
Yes.
Something along, yes. And I remember after that, we all had large team morale because we realized that it wasn't as hard as we thought it would. And for the innovation team checkpoints, I remember whenever that model was done, recently, what practice was it? 2 or 3 practices ago? Around there, I remember whenever we first did it, we had a practice presentation, which was, not on Wednesday. Yeah, thank you. Wednesday, and yeah. And the first, whenever the slideshow was completed, we all gathered around and looked at it and gave suggestions to each other. And yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your time. That's our
Your
mascot.
presentation probably ended with the time of just
I have a few questions. So the first thing I have a question about is, did you talk to anybody about your design?
We could not.
my second question is about your robot. Did you come across any struggles on building your robot?
Yes, a lot, like Clark said. Also, so this isn't our original robot. We first started with a much smaller version, but about halfway through the season, they made us scrap our robot and go to the advanced driving base. Yeah, hold this, I'm gonna show them the attachments.
It has
So,
lots of
if you see right here, you can take out these pegs, and it's much easier to remove attachments. That's one of the biggest, I guess, changes.
So did you guys, did you have like a template or something you followed for that robot, or y'all came up with that design all by yourself?
Well, see, we came up with all the code, obviously. We came up with these bumpers, this, and then this, but the arm was pre-made. So this is,
And this part was modified to help with mission 2 and other missions. And we added this piece for this one part of mission 2.
And also, with the question you were asking, majority for the advanced driving base, there was a template that we used, but like the wheel bearings right here and like here, we did make that on our own to help us with our,
And we
with our
added-
missions.
and we added eyes to the robot. Why not? Determination.
What was the biggest challenge you faced this year?
Code, like,
Yeah.
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 we had to
remake
start.
everything.
But it was actually at a pretty convenient time, cause next practice, they told us we had to scrap our code anyways to recode it to with the driving base, so I guess it was not so
So we had a
bad.
huge code wipe at the beginning of the
Season.
year. Yeah.
I don't know how many problems the English project team knew about that us got, but they could probably tell you the problems that they got.
Is this a first year for everybody, or is it?
No, a lot of these kids were here last year, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 5. So, also another reason why we chose this year's mascot and last year is because half of us are from last year, half of us are from next year. So we had last year's mascot as like this year's mascot's kind of pet, if you saw.
Was everybody involved in some of the coding and some of the
Yes.
building?
Yes, everyone knows how to do it.
At the very beginning of the season, people were finding out like problems that we could do, and like everybody has an experience with coding as well.
Yeah,
So pretty
everyone-
much the last few practices, we would switch around occasionally and work on both teams.
So we showed them the code, they showed us the presentation.
Everyone worked on everything, and then we split into 2 teams to do the stuff.
Like everybody focused on something, but they stood.
Do you guys have any fights?
Yes.
Yes,
there were a lot of
There were lots of disputes about things.
That's
Yes,
basically
especially
our
these two, especially these two siblings right here. They argue all the time.
So how did
But-
you guys work that out?
So mostly
We stopped well.
we just kind of gave them space. That's mostly why we put them on different parts of the team. But yeah. So. But
It's okay.
yeah, but yeah, and at the beginning of the year, some people were a bit off task, but I think we fixed that up. Whenever they realized we didn't have a lot of time left, they pulled their weight.
Did you guys have a good time doing this?
Yes!
It was fun.
Okay.
We've had lots of fun going through this journey.
And lots of tears.
Yes.
And lots of fun. We've made lots of friends and lots of memories.
Unless you guys are from different grades or same age or?
It's
and
just
seventh
6th and
grade.
7th grade.
Sixth
Yeah.
and
Grade
seventh
is
grade. Okay,
1, 2, 3, only 3 6th graders.
okay, okay. And raise your hand if this was your first year, sorry. Okay, so about half the team, okay.
Which is, I think it's ironic, because 5 and 5. So they had like the mentors. But
Yeah, I was just thinking, give me just a second, I'm sorry. This is my first year judging, so, I'm new to it.
You're fine.
I think you guys are doing great.
I mean, this is my first year doing this, so.
Um,
One of the judges is an old friend.
So when you guys had ideas, did all of you kind of talk it through and figure out, hey,
Yeah.
this is the best idea? You guys kind of decided that as a
Yes.
team?
So,
We did have.
Wednesday, we had a huge table read and we got into a big debate because, what was it about? How, I can't remember what it was.
What the windmills with power, I think.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
an argue about how some people thought the slides had misinformation, others thought that if they added more slides, it'd just make it like a bit too much. So, but we saw that we added a bit to the slides, but we didn't add like entirely new slides. Because, and I also remember some people got mad because we were using too much Bitmojis.
Not too much. There's never too much Bitmojis.
Which,
Everything needs a little bit of pizzazz.
oh, yeah, you also got guys, hand this out. This is our version of our innovation project in electric form. There should be a key back here that can like make it spin, but I don't know what happened to it. What happened to it?
I have no idea.
I think it fell once, and we've never been able to find it.
So I have one thing I want y'all to focus on coming forth next time is technology, like the smart boards are gonna be a little troublesome, especially for some of the judges. So I want you to think about this and try your best to know your presentation enough to be able to present it with or without your slideshow.
So the weird thing is, we use these every day at school.
Yes.
I don't know, I have no clue why that wasn't working.
Yeah,
I think,
Yeah, this is
I
like
think
the
we're about
first
out
one.
of
It did,
time.
I think it did this like maybe once last year.
And I'll tell someone that the
Well, I'm gonna try and fix it as the other team comes in, but we're out of time, so thank you.
Thank
We
you.
will
Thank
finish
you
up
for
here.
having us.
Yeah, thank
And
you for
Brian.
and for putting up with us.
Thank you for
This is
putting
a
up with
learning
us.
experience for everybody.